calculate the value of the square root of 7.1 square plus 2.9 square. And then the special instruction is that we're supposed to give our answer correct to two significant figures. What we want to do here is just to work out this quickly. So I'm just going to drop this here. So 7.2 square. So we want to use our calculators. 7.1 square, should say. That's about 50.4. 50.41. And I'm going to add that to 2.9 square. That's about 8.4. 8.41. Let's add these together. We're getting, so 8.41 plus 50.41. That's about 58.2. 58.82. And then we take the square root of this. So the square root of that. All right, so I'm just going to write what I get. So we get 7.6694. But remember the context of the question, two significant figures. If I'm going to round this off to two significant figures, this is going to be my spot. So it's going to be 7.7 to get that 1 mark. So the bottom line is you want to make sure that you're not making any errors as you go. All right. Second question, we're going to put this to 2 decimal place, the same response. So this to 2 decimal place, I'm focusing on this, and then I look here. So I'm going to round up to 7.67. All right, very straightforward. So those are easy marks that everybody should be picking up. All right, so easy marks to pick up right there. Let us write the following quantities in ascending order. All right, what you want to do with a question like this is probably to represent everybody as a decimal quickly. So we could represent this as a decimal. So 12, divide that by 25. This is the same thing as 0.48. 47% is the same as 47 over 100, which is 0.47. So having had everything in decimal, now I am able to easily put it in ascending order. So from smallest to largest. So it's going to be 0.46 followed by 47%. Followed by 12 over 25. All right. So you want to follow very quickly. Put everything using an equal idea. In this case, we're using decimals, and then we represent that. All right. Let's take a look at this question. It says here, Mahindra and Java share $7,224 in the ratio 7-to-5. How much more? All right, so it's how much more money does Mahindra receive than Java? So you want to take a look at this here. This one is for, I'm just going to call this person M. I'm going to call this person J. All right, so the total here, as you could see, is actually 12 parts that we're dealing with. So there are various ways that we can work this out. So what we want to do is to find both, and then we subtract. So I'm going to work out Ma, just shortening the name. So that is, Ma is 7. So I'm going to work 7 out of 12 off that money, which is 7,224. So we want to work that out. 7 divided by 12 times 7,224. And this person is getting $4,212. Let's work out Java. Java got 5 out of the 12. So 5 over 12 times 7,224. Work that out. 5 divided by 12 times 7,224. And this person is getting $3,010. So how much more we're referring to? We're going to have to subtract. So you want to subtract. And we're getting $1,214, right? So there it is that we have. I'm just going to shout this person's name, but let's write it. Mahindra got $1,214 more than Jaha. Second question. So part 3, it says the present population of Portsmouth is 550,000, right? It is expected that this population will increase by 42% in 2030. All right. Now, what they want us to do is to write this number here, 550,000, in standard form. Remember, standard form is written as a times 10 raised to the n, where a is a number less than 10 greater than or equal to 1, and then n is an integer. What it means is that I'm going to have to make sure that my decimal point comes after the first non-zero digit. So if you want to write back all of these, you can, but it's not necessary. So basically, this is the idea. 5.5000 times 10 raised to what power? Let us check to see how many places did we move it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we actually move the decimal 5 places to the left. So it is actually 5.5 times 10 raised to the 5th power, and that will give us the answer. If you have this, it's the same thing. So if you have 5.5 times 10 raised to the 5th, you're still good. All right, let's take out the second part to part C. It says calculate the expected population of Portsmouth in 2030. Now remember, it's going to increase by 42%. There are two ways we could approach this. Solution one is that we could understand that this 42 will be added to 100. So at that time, it's going to be 142% off what it is now. This could take you straight to the answer. So you could put 142 over 100. If you multiply this by 550,000, you will get the answer, which is 781.23. So this is going to be the population at that time. But this is solution one. That is solution one. Solution two, most persons probably do this. You find 42% of the 550 and add it back to it. So you can do it that way, all right? So 42% of 550,000 is going to give us 231,000. So now what we're going to do now is to combine the 550 plus the 231, and we're looking at 781,000. So whichever way you work this, it doesn't matter, right? You could take approach one, approach two. We're going to end up having the same value there. You'll get the same 1 mark. So it's an easy cheese, nothing to stress over. So far, so good. Everybody should actually be collecting those marks right now. So far, so good. All right, let's jump onto this question. This question says, the graph below can be used to convert between United States dollars, which is US, and Eastern Caribbean. So you're seeing Eastern Caribbean on the x-axis and US is on the y-axis. It says using the graph. The very important thing here, it says using the graph, what we want to do is to convert to US to EC. So what you want to do is to take this. Let me take this graph to my other screen. Let me take this to the other screen very quickly right here. All right. So all right, let's take a look at this. So what we're looking at is $2. Quickly, want to see where $2 US. So we want to make sure 2 that we're reading. So 2 US to EC. Let's go back. 2 US. I'm going to take a line and I'm going to take it where 2 is. Right here. And the moment it touched the graph, I'm going to stop and I'm going to take it down from here. So all I'm going to do is to interpret what's going on right here, right here. So based on what we're dealing with, right, we can see this is, we're moving by 0.2, all right, 5.2, 5.4, 5.6, 5.86. So this, that we're at, this mark is actually $5.40. All right, so we're picking up that from the graph right there. And when they said use the graph, you want to show these lines. You have to show these lines on your graph in order to do that. So what we're looking at here is we got $5.40, right? So it came down right here. That's where it came out right there. So that's $5.40. All right, let us jump onto the other question. So the other question says we're still using the graph. What we want to do is that we want to convert US 70. We want to convert EC 70 to US. So what we're going to have to do is to use the graph to do an idea. Remember, it's a straight line. So the idea remains constant. So I want to look at EC 70, even though there's no 70 here, but I could relate EC7 and then I multiply by 10. So I'm going to use EC7 here. I'm going to definitely use this graph because we're supposed to be using the graph. So I'm going to take up 7 right here. So if I take 7 here, this is where it's going to take me. All right, so 7 would have taken me right here at that line. Boom. All right, so I'm actually getting a nice line right there. So 7 would have taken me right over here. So what we want to do over here is that we want to do over here is to try to see what this is right here. So this is 2.2, 2.4. This is 2.6, right? So right here, this line came across at 2.6 right there. Therefore, we are able now to make that link. So it came across at 2.6. So 7 came across at 2.6, and we're going to be using that. So let's go back to this. So basically, using the graph, EC $7 was equal to US $2.60. Therefore, right? Therefore, EC 70, because if I multiply the 7 by 10, I get 70. Then if I multiply the $2.60 by 10, it's going to give me US $26. All right. So that is how we could easily represent that idea. All right. So 70 would link to $26.